So grateful for it. It's been a very challenging evening. And I wanted to get it under the wire. So I think I logged in right at like 11:59. Oh, we started at 11:59. So the streak is alive. Um, I'm weird like that. No nights off if we could help it. Um, but just thank everybody for your patience and generosity. And hopefully next week will be a little bit. Um, I can't promise you that it'll be as good as it can. I see y'all talking about Destiny. I was thinking about doing a video recap of that. But we could just talk about it too, because the Destiny. I don't even call it the Destiny video because it's Destiny. It's Benny Morris. It's Norman Finkelstein. And it's Maureen Rabah. And it's a heck of a video. So I watched literally. I don't know if I told you this last night. I think I did. I was so sleepy last night. I can't remember, but I watched all 5 hours. It was like right under 4 hours and some right under 5 hours, and I watched it all. We'll get to that, but for now, let's talk about the war on Gaza. Day 163. We're at day 163. Um, it's never not stunning to me how we've continued in this place. But I'll get through the big news so we can talk through it. Obviously, as always, I like to start with the updates, the death toll updates in particular. Not because I'm morbid or grim, but because it's important to keep that at the forefront. And as of right now, the official numbers that I have: 31,645 Palestinians have been killed. 73,676 have been injured since October 7th. Again, 31,645 Palestinians have been killed. 73,676 have been injured in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. The revised death toll in Israel stands at 1,139, with dozens of people still held hostage since October 7th. Lots of news, very little of it encouraging, but again, we're not here to ignore the difficult stuff. So let's talk about it. At least 92 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes in Gaza in the last 24 hours. That's as of earlier today. It's probably like 36 hours now, according to Wafa news agency. Shelling this morning, Sunday morning anyway, targeted areas in the south and northeast of Khan Yunis, as well as in the north of Rafah city. 92 people in one day. This is what we're talking about. I mean, this is the reality of what we're talking about here. These aren't small numbers. 92 people in one day that we know of. And again, you see a lot of targeting areas in the south, which is exactly what we've been seeing. So much starvation in the north, so much death in the south, but also death in the north and starvation in the south. That no one is spared. But in dense areas like Rafah, where we see high levels of density, high levels of not just dispossession, but people who are sort of dislocated, people who are there fleeing, people who are internally displaced refugees. A disproportionate number of them are in Rafah. 1.5 million of them are there. So with that in mind, when you see these big, large death tolls, it makes sense. Sadly, it's to be expected, but it's also very terrifying because large amounts of damage can be done by the Israeli military forces quite easily. Let's be clear. Also, it wasn't just there. Deir el-Balah, which is in central Gaza, was hit last night. Late last night. At least 12 people were killed, and many more were wounded. There's videos. There's eyewitnesses to this. These aren't debatable actions in terms of the death tolls. And these numbers are generally scary for lots of reasons. In some ways, what we see in Rafah right now sort of foreshadows a deeper problem in Rafah, which is the potential ground invasion. There's a very good chance of a ground invasion. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, he's been threatening a ground invasion for a very long time. 2 days ago, he reaffirmed that there will be a ground invasion. This is all happening during Shahr Ramadan, by the way, which makes it um, even more chilling and more disturbing and more, yeah, it makes everything worse. Um, the president of the EU, Ursula von der Leyen, says that this planned invasion into Rafah must, quote, be avoided at all costs. It must be, quote, avoided at all costs. Now, Netanyahu has insisted still, um, to the German chancellor, that it's still going to happen. Some good news. 13 aid trucks arrived safely in Jabalia and in Gaza City, which make it the first convoys to travel from the south to the north of the Gaza Strip without any problems, without any hangups, in about 4 months. So since November. So the fact that 13 aid trucks got in safely for the first time in 4 months tells you that, maybe some of the pressure from the international community, maybe some of the ICJ's oversight has at least resulted in this. That's not to say those things that it's working or that there's progress overall, but it is to say that, hey, maybe, just maybe, there's a sliver of progress here. Not overall progress, but just on this matter. And the reason I say that is because ceasefire talks have not advanced. Netanyahu has been very clear that, right now, he says that Hamas has not made a reasonable offer. That basically they are not making reasonable offers, and therefore there's just no real negotiation to happen. Hamas has said that they're open to negotiation, willing to negotiate, but that they have a non-starter, which is that there needs to be at different times. They've said different non-starters, but they said they need a permanent ceasefire, which Israel says is not going to happen. So it's been very challenging. A lot of people think that negotiations in general, ceasefire talks in particular, are simply not going to move forward. But what we're hearing is that they may have already started this morning, Sunday morning. That Qatar is the site for them, and that the head of the Mossad, which is the Israeli Foreign Intelligence Agency, would be there. And the idea now is a 3-stage plan to end the war. We can talk about what those 3 stages are, but we've heard that before, about 3 stages that involve different things, including, maybe most importantly, for Israel, the return of hostages, and then the return of soldiers, right? I mean, there are all kinds of things. Now, there's also going to be a need for the release of prisoners on the Palestinian side, a lot of them. So we'll talk about that and see what happens, but we'll see what happens. If you care about what's going on inside of Israel, as a lot of people who watch this do, there were thousands of protesters today inside of the state of Israel demanding that Netanyahu resign. These are Israelis, people who don't like the way he's handling the war in particular. This isn't about pre-October 7th politics, at least not primarily. They said they're there because of how he's prosecuting this war. I don't know if that makes anybody, again, I don't know if that makes anybody feel better or worse or whatever, but that's where we kind of are right now. A couple more things. A second aid ship. Actually, let me give you a couple more updates. Flour is being distributed pretty widely from six of the trucks I mentioned at camps run at UNRWA refugee camps, and then there's a second ship that will soon be leaving Cyprus for Gaza with more tons of aid. As I told you all yesterday, I said they haven't given us a timeline, but there was a ship that left Cyprus for Gaza, got held up for a bit, then it made it, and now they're unloading it. I say people should probably be eating from that ship by Monday or Tuesday. It's Monday now. It's early Monday morning, so in Gaza it's 7 a.m. Throughout Palestine it's 7 a.m. It might be 6 in Gaza right now. In light of that, they may even get some tonight, but probably I think Tuesday would seem more likely to me. 200 tons of food is significant, but a second aid ship is coming right now. That would be incredibly important. Just want to reiterate, Netanyahu, his statements about pursuing a ground offensive weren't just 2 days ago. He actually said that today as well. Amnesty International has called on President Biden to U.S. President Joseph Biden to call for a ceasefire and to stop arms sales to Israel, saying that it's U.S.-made munitions that have killed many of the 30,000 people, 31,000 plus people killed in Gaza. Again, Amnesty International saying the U.S. should do two things: call for a ceasefire, which we haven't, and stop arms sales to Israel, which we definitely haven't. But we must. But we must. Who is willing to? Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to pay that political cost? That's a great question. It's one that we have to really think about. Human Rights Watch also called on the international community to make some moves. They said that they want to impose sanctions on Israel for not complying with the International Court of Justice's order to take provisional measures in Gaza to prevent genocide of the Palestinian people. So basically, Human Rights Watch is saying that that plausible case for genocide is there, and Israel hasn't done the things necessary to stop it. So anyway, y'all, that's the update for today. Those are the big issues. Those are the big stories right now. I have more for you tomorrow, but I want to run that by you. If there's a question or two, I'll take it. I want to shout out, by the way, Sahar Ashafi for joining the channel. We appreciate you so much. A new member of the MLH official YouTube channel is here. That is so dope. That is so fly. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining the channel. So I'm looking for other comments or questions here. I don't see anything right now, but if there's a question or two, we might take you. But Makeda, thank you so much for the shout. Look, y'all. See, by the way, Sahar, you getting shout outs from people in the community. This is how we do. You know what I mean? Office hours works. Y'all want to do office hours? We'll do office hours right now. We can do a quick office hour. So I will log out of here. We'll do office hours with MLH. Everybody, I want you to consider, though, joining. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button to make sure this goes far and wide. Also, family, I want you to hit the subscribe button. It would be great if you subscribe to the channel. And of course, it's always wonderful if somebody is so inclined to hit the join button and subscribe. If you're interested in really supporting this channel, you subscribe, become a monthly subscriber. It's as low as $4.99 a month. And what it allows you to do is not only get exclusive content and get shouts out on the page, but it also creates the space and the context for us to build this channel up and do the work that we want to do. Yes, there's lots of directions we go in. It's not just Israel-Palestine, although that's been sort of at the forefront the last couple of months for the obvious reasons. But there's lots of content here, lots of stuff to do. But again, we want to build the channel up, and being a subscriber helps that a great deal. Also, if you want to donate something to the channel, please do. You can do it through Cash App if you want to make a direct donation, $ MLHTV. Again, MLHTV. If you just give $1, it goes a long way. We really appreciate it. All right, everybody, back up with office hours right after this.